Hey everyone, this is our last video. Some of the videos that I posted, all of them, but at a certain point wouldn't let me edit at all. Not even a little bit. So there's these repetitive things, long gaps, random words that I thought that I could cut out and I can't. You know, explaining things away is an evil thing, okay? Sharing our story is not an evil thing. Speaking up for ourselves is not an evil thing, but a perfect explanation that people want is an evil thing. I've told you in this, I have hysterically cried and let it all out natural. I have at times spoke very crazy and like unable to make the sense that I want to make. And then there's other times where there's a spirit in it and it's amazing and it's not my own. And I don't control and possess those moments. It comes out the way it comes out. And this is my last video and I want to be done. So I'm making a choice to push through here. I'm not waiting for a certain moment. And this is going to be a long video. When I was in the beginning of my suffering, from start until now, I never asked the Lord to free me because I took a look around and I saw how big and how bad, and it was like, how dare I ask for that, but also I know no one can. And so my prayer wasn't that. My prayer was a million times the prayer I prayed the most. I prayed it so much that I said, I'm never praying that prayer again. And it was show my family, make awareness of this, talk about it openly, show it for what it is. And just a couple of years later, he's doing that. Okay, the only people we don't know are some of the citizens, and they're coming around and they will all see. Everyone has to see for themselves. And it's happening, and it's happening fast. And he took it to Hollywood and he took it to the leaders. Go forth and say and do. If you don't feel comfortable going against any of the rules, then do what you can that you feel comfortable to do. Our president talks openly about this, but also isn't specific. Those things will come in time. And so if he can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. And very soon, in hindsight, you will see that you knew and said and did nothing and trusted. A thing that you thought could surely be trusted because you saw so many other things that you couldn't trust, and the evidence of the darkness was there. You thought in no way that you could be involved in that darkness, or that what is being brought to you could be manipulated or twisted. That's their number one game. And they succeed at it. So it is better to trust in the Lord and to do what He commands of you. And in doing that here, because if not, I would have died, and my family wouldn't be together. Miracles were seen, and He'll do the same thing for you if you go to Him. And you open and read your word so that you can discern against the evil one. That's what it takes, and if not, the darkness will overcome you. And in hindsight, you will say, what Jess was saying, I thought didn't apply to me. I thought I knew more than her, ahead of her. It will very much apply to you. Alright, so yeah, I prayed raise awareness, talk about it, speak about it. And we're at a place where we could just, like, bam, come out with the truth, gather together, speak about it. Let everybody know all the portions of the truth. And be separated from that darkness. And then it shows it for what it is. And you communicate with God on how to come against it. Carefully. And I don't mean just physically flee. I mean, there will be people that need to do that, but flee like divide. Don't support what you don't want to support anymore. Yeah, explaining is an evil thing. Sharing our story is very important. We must do that. Let me explain how explaining is an evil thing. Okay, let me give you an example. Say I'm outside, I'm with my husband, we're looking up at the sky and we see a plane fly past, and then it stands idle, and then it glitches and disappears. And then we look and we see a hawk standing idle too, and I'm like, honey, look at this, did you see this? And I say what happened to him, and he goes, yeah, well, you know, birds sometimes they float on the air, and blah, 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 and he explains it away. And let me stop right there and explain. I think it was like 2020, a father was just like I am, speaking exactly like I am right now, sharing all the details around, all the pieces. And he was repetitive and had gaps and it was hard for him. And basically he was describing that his son was being watched, that they were hurting him, and they were really succeeding at doing that when he was playing his video games, and that the son broke his screen monitor 3 times and then he killed himself. And the father was trying to explain all of that. I've seen in 6 years of torture that when you all explain things away for your selfishness, you cover up what is done to children and being a voice for them. I met many women along my way enduring this. They all had their children taken away from them by children's services, and none of them deserved it or could stop what was happening to them. And it wasn't the right thing to do. It made everything worse. Kids belong with their mothers. So I want to be clear. You know, those families, those children severely suffered. I was, though, the only woman whose child was being targeted by this, okay? I want to be clear that this absolutely destroyed their lives. It absolutely hurt them. But there is a difference between being shown and being tortured by it. And the amount of suffering that would come from the two is drastically different. Drastically different. Very different. And so we should not compare, and I don't at all mean to compare. But to see a child be targeted by this, my little girl, it's like every time you explain things away, you cover up what was so hard to get there and talk about. You cover up a miraculous moment that a person suffers so hard to have, so long for to have. And it allows you to continue to live your peaceful, vain, selfish life, which I don't want to ever take that away from people. But there should be no group that is allowed to be kept safe and to be without harm while everybody else suffers abominations. And that's what people think that God will do for them. And He absolutely will do that for them, provided only they're provided they are seriously bothered by the thought of being kept from so much while you know everybody else suffers, and that your heart then cries out for them constantly without stopping in prayer and in going forth in word and deed and saying and doing what you can do. And then going to your Lord above and saying, should I do this thing? Should I not do this thing? Should I trust this thing? Should I not trust this thing? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? That's yours, Lord, and yours. It is better to trust the Heavenly Father than in princes, especially in the end times. They will all be played against each other and will not stop striving for their own power. That's evil. Alright, so explaining things away is an evil thing. It's not a good thing, and it should be done no longer, except through experience, understanding maybe like how a certain method is possible. Those things will come, those answers. Alright, so who is the throne of Satan? They are not good, they're never good, they're never going to be good. And they do countless unbelievable abominations. And so these weapons, could they do amazing things? They could. There would never be a war again if these things were used for good. But they do some things good with it, and in order to show you, oh, look what can be done with this. And you think, wow, this is great. And it's going to be the thing that people convert to and believe the church of the abomination of the Antichrist because of the weapons of tech and what they can do that are good. But when they're used for one or three good things and a million evil things, it's do not speak to what it can do good. Everybody knows that. So it's not good. Don't let them prove and manipulate you that it is good. Could be, but that's not how evil man works. So the throne of Satan. Let me get into talking about that. Who is the throne of Satan? The church in Pergamum in the book of Revelation talks about people who are targeted like me, but are at the throne of Satan, and I'm going to tell you who that is, and it's no shocker. Protect me, Lord, and I have trust and faith in you in that. I want to be clear that I'm saying that not the people of these nations are evil. The nations are evil. So this Antichrist is evil China, evil Russia, and evil Middle East, and they have their tentacles tied up in every nation that has evil in it. Yes, every nation. It's hidden here in America. And our president does care about you and does love you and is persevering and has cleaned a lot of it out. But they expected all of that. And, their tool here in America is being quiet and not letting society hear about things. So in America, you protect them when you stay quiet. You protect them when you don't do. The evil ones. Okay? And China won't make a peep. Okay? China won't look at you, sneeze at you, make a facial expression at you, breathe at you in the wrong way. They will not make a peep. Okay? They can fluently speak your language and will not let you know. Okay? And their people were raised up in this way. And they have raised them up in the way that they want to raise them up over the generations. To keep their people quiet. To keep their people comfortable in knowing that they're being watched. Raising them and the children up in normalcy in that. Just what's the word I want to use? Not a heaviness, not just known, but not proved. In the Middle East is very responsible for being obsessed with the servants of God and being the Antichrist, the spiritual part of it. Now you know all of that. There's so much more, okay? I don't have those words yet. There's much more. Alright. If you want to know what happened to me, watch the movie The Mauritanian. I believe it's spelled Mauratanian. I think it's spelled like that. And this is the story of an innocent man. I believe this is a country in the Middle East. A man was stolen from the country, kidnapped, and taken to an American base to be tortured. And to take the fall, they tortured him until he confessed for the 9/11 plane crashes so that terrorist trade could continue. And they succeeded at that and tortured that man for 14 years. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to so many. But my story's a tweak different. It's the same evil. Torture should not exist. Lord, please take your hand of torture off this earth. Suffering does not make you great, it destroys you. God makes us great. I wanted to get into this because I got sidetracked and I don't think I really explained it like I wanted to and don't want to leave it the way I did. So, am I the bride of Christ? Am I a saint? Is there anybody else that is either by self? No. See, that's the beauty of it. We need to love each other. And we need each other and we want each other. And St. Paul says we do not consider ourselves to have taken a hold of sainthood yet. And that the last thing that a saint must do to be truly spotless is to die, is to be martyred. So whoa. Let's go to the kingdom of heaven patiently and slowly. And here he shows us how to endure and how to be comfortable with things that we're scared of. And to desire them and want them in a good way. Not, oh, I'm comfortable with dying because I'm strong. No, it's a peace and I'm ready to go thing. Do not fear those who can kill the body and cannot kill the soul, and you don't need to be afraid. I'm not trying to scare you. We're already in this, okay? If you turn to your faith, they know they have faith in Jesus, okay? So turn to your faith all at once. Receive the testimonies of the targeted people and take their words seriously and take them to your God and do what He says before authority. We certainly honor and respect authority and law and order, but we, all things with Jesus beforehand, before authority. Okay, we talked a lot about self-righteousness here. We talked about self-righteousness versus watching what they're doing or paying attention to what they're doing. Not what they're filling our minds with and our bodies with and distracting us with and making us work hard at. What is coming out of all these mouths and what are they going forth and doing? For example, if they have just go forth, say and do, and then you, no, can't go forth, can't go say and do. Pay attention to all of that. And not be distracted by what they fill our minds with. That exhaust us. None of that's important. Testimony is. But I mean, like, we'll get through all of that. I hear people one moment be so stressed out and the next moment be so happy. It's like, you don't see what's being done to you. So none of that matters. We'll get through it. We'll get to the place where we can focus on what they're doing and learn from it. So it's important to remain humble. People who are in leadership, whether it be leadership of entertainment or a nation or a pastor or a teacher or anybody, you are blessed beyond all others upon that have ever walked this earth, Hollywood. And I pray that you remain so, and that you turn your faith and keep the commands of the Lord before anything else. And so when they start stroking your ego or making you think me, that's their distraction. To busy you with, and to keep you without soberness of seeing what's going on. It's done to me too. Okay, but I say to you all, I'll say it this way, I saw Kim Kardashian on TV and Chris and Chloe, and they were all being sweet, and what was coming out, it sounded like to others, just like me here, it sounds like bad, like it sounds like self-talk. But disguised under that was a beautiful thing. And thank you for your compassion. I needed it. And so in these things, they're not what they appear to be. So that's why it's important to pay attention to what they're succeeding at doing and to pray and ask God what we should say or do about it. There's a name I would like to mention. It's a good thing. To this person whose name I mentioned, I would have mentioned it a long time ago, but you needed to learn and gain experience, and I thought they would target you, and I mention it now because I think you're strong enough to say, leave me alone. There's somebody I would kind of like to title as the boss. In entertainment on Food Network. And it just means he's had enough experience. He's been very emotionally sound, very level-headed, very trustworthy of his emotions, very slow to anger, but there. When people are angry, they're angry for good reason. And I just think that this person can be trusted with just sharing his experiences and trusting how he's feeling. And I support him in that. Whether he says, well, I'm going to try this, I'm going to keep doing this, or says, nope, get away from me and get away from me for good. Or however you choose to go for it. He's taken the time to learn and has enough experience. And I would say Jeffrey Zakarian, don't let them come to you. That's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want that to happen. Or they pressure you. This is a you thing. You're the boss. This is pay attention to how you feel. To pay attention to your relationship with God. Not what they do with you spiritually. Not what I say to you or anything else. Or what everybody else is doing. This is you encourage others. It's a matter of the heart type of thing. I saw him angry recently, and for good reason, and I felt safe and protected. Alright, so let's move on from that. I left talking about some websites that we read the Gnostic stuff on. And we're going to end spiritually here. If you want to go ahead and read, if you're like very interested in reading any of the Gnostic writings that are not in the Holy Bible, you can purchase yourself an Ethiopian Bible if you want. I haven't read the Geneva Bible. I've been wrapped up in the Gnostics, and so I don't know anything about that. We just read the Word of God here, and we're going into Gnostics and Pistis Sophia and Enoch. I think Enoch and the Secrets of Enoch and Asher, spelled Jasher, are in the Ethiopian Bible. I wish I had one, but I don't, so I read them online. I'm making a video! Alright, so here's the websites, write them down. Gnostic Society Library, GNOSTIC Society Library. Then there's biblical.ie. Biblical.I as an eagle, E as an elephant. There was another one I used, but recently they changed it, and all sorts of weird stuff on the website. So it was just a place to find things, but not to trust conspiracy stuff. conspiracy stuff is rooted in the truth, and it kind of gets whispered down the lane and changed. So people don't know how to handle it when people try and explain it, when really it's rooted in that people are suffering. But those two websites are really good. There's Enoch and the Secrets of Enoch. Read both of them. They talk about the kingdom of heaven, and if you're a numbers person, you should definitely go to them. Asher talks about Enoch a lot too. And then there's Pistis Sophia we're going to read on Gnostic Society Library. Alright. Okay. In my last video, I had planned to edit this out but couldn't. So let me better explain. We're talking about when there's fame and there's power and there's money and there's all these riches of the earth, it still doesn't feel like enough, right? And I want to be clear that I'm not saying, oh, fame and power and money, it's not enough, want more. Okay, wrong. Do I have to say that for the heckling pastors? We're just calling attention to that there's a desire above that, and the reason for that desire, we said, is because you belong to the Lord and you desire glory. And the reason you desire it is because we are His glory and He is our glory. And together, we'll be one with Him and live within Him. Until then, we are in our skin nature. But we resurrected with Jesus when we believe in His testimony and when we seek Him through our testimony, when we have our testimony, and we rise with Him and will be His glory on this earth that He is bringing to this earth. And I talked about singing your praises and encouraging and being sweet and talk. We'll get there. We talked about how that needs to be separate from what the Antichrist is doing and the stroking of the ego and the selfish, vain, surface level posturing. I've got to take this thing off. I'm so hot. Woo. I want you to pay attention to when your body's crying out for something and that we might be pushing it out because we feel like it's wrong. To try to pay attention to that and to say, your servant is listening, Lord. What are you trying to show me here? And I believe in this church that He's telling you that the time will come when we stand in front of each other and we say all those beautiful things and all those sweet things, and I said it that way on purpose to sing your praises so that some go, oh, what? And others really grasp the point, okay? Because we're going to leave this behind and worship our Jesus now and our Heavenly Father. Okay, but it's something that He brought to be in the end times, and He waited for a long time to speak of her. And we discussed that glory just means a beauty, a light, a pure, virginal, consecrated light. Once we give ourselves fully over to Him, that He will do within us. You'll see Him perform miracles. You'll see fake miracles performed You'll see people crying and screaming their story aloud, and you'll see people trying to explain things, and it comes out crazy sometimes. It's okay, everybody does that sometimes.